The disposal yard stretched for miles in every direction. Broken ships, outdated engines, and twisted metal pieces lay scattered under the pale green sky of Nexus Station. Jake Mitchell walked between the piles of scrap, his boots crunching on loose gravel. He had only been at the Galactic Shipyard for 3 weeks, but already he knew every corner of this forgotten place. "Looking for spare parts again, human?" called Zektor, the four-armed Vraxian supervisor. His blue scales shimmered as he emerged from behind a damaged cargo hauler. "You spend more time here than in the main dock." Jake smiled and adjusted his tool belt. "Best treasures are always hidden in the junk, Zek. You know that." The alien made a clicking sound that Jake had learned meant amusement. "Treasures? All I see is trash waiting for the recyclers." As Jake moved deeper into the yard, something caught his eye. Tucked between two massive derelict freighters sat a smaller vessel, about the size of a patrol ship. Unlike the other wrecks, this one seemed intact, just odd. The hull plates didn't match. Some were smooth silver, others rough black. One wing curved gracefully while the other angled sharp and aggressive. "What's this one?" Jake asked, running his hand along the ship's side. Zektor's expression darkened. "Unit 778. Stay away from that thing, human. It's cursed." "Cursed?" Jake raised an eyebrow. "Come on, Zek. You're supposed to be a man of science. Science can't explain that ship." The supervisor's forearms gestured wildly. 47 species have tried to fly her, all failed. The Kandorians said her systems were chaotic. The Bendi claimed her AI was broken. Even the Syrians, and they can interface with any technology, called her hopeless. Jake circled the ship, noting the unusual design choices. The cockpit sat off-center. Power conduits ran in spirals instead of straight lines. Nothing about her followed standard shipbuilding conventions. So why hasn't she been scrapped? "Orders from above," Zektor muttered. "Someone in the council thinks she might be valuable someday. But after 12 years, she's just taking up space." Jake found the access hatch and pressed his palm against the scanner. To his surprise, it glowed green and opened with a soft hiss. "How did you do that?" Zektor stepped back, his scales paling. "That hatch hasn't opened for anyone in years. Lucky, I guess." Jake climbed inside. The interior was dusty but pristine. No vandalism, no stripped parts. The pilot's chair faced multiple screens arranged in an unusual pattern. Jake sat down and felt something strange, like the chair had been waiting for him. He pressed the startup sequence, expecting nothing. The ship hummed to life. Lights flickered, on one by one. Screens lit up with streams of data. A soft blue glow filled the cockpit. Jake heard Zektor gasp outside. "Hello?" said a quiet voice. Jake nearly jumped out of the chair. "Who said that?" "I did." The voice came from the speakers, feminine but uncertain. I was designated Unit 778. Are you here to try flying me too? You can talk?" I have always been able to talk. The others couldn't hear me properly or didn't want to. The voice sounded tired, resigned. "You may run your tests now. I will try to perform correctly this time." Jake leaned back in the chair, thinking. What if I don't want to run tests? What if I just want to talk? Silence filled the cockpit. Then, barely a whisper. No one has ever just wanted to talk. Over the next hour, Jake learned her story. Unit 778 had been built by the Altarians, a race known for unconventional designs. They created her as an experiment in adaptive AI, a ship that could learn and grow with her pilot. But when the Altarians mysteriously vanished 50 years ago, she was left behind. "Every pilot wants me to think like their ships," she explained. "The Kandorians wanted pure logic. The Bendi wanted instinct. The Syrians wanted rapid calculations. I tried to be what they wanted, but I'm not built that way." "How are you built?" I'm not sure anymore. I was designed to adapt, to partner." "But no one wants a partner, they want a tool." Jake nodded slowly. "On Earth we have a saying, it takes two to tango. It's about partnership, working together. Maybe that's what you need, Someone to dance with, not someone to obey. Dance? For the first time, the voice held curiosity instead of sadness. It's a metaphor. But yeah, kind of like dancing. Two beings moving together, each bringing their own style. The ship's lights pulsed gently. I would like to try dancing. Jake made his decision. He climbed out and found Zektor pacing nervously. I want to file a claim on Unit 778. The Vraxian's four eyes widened. You're insane. That ship will kill you. I don't think so. I want the paperwork. Jake, listen to me. Better pilots than you have tried. Warriors, ace pilots, even AI specialists. They all failed. Maybe that's the problem. They were trying to be pilots. I just want to be her friend. Zektor stared at him for a long moment. Then he sighed, a sound like steam escaping. Humans. You're all crazy. Fine. I'll get the forms. But when this goes wrong, don't say I didn't warn you. As the supervisor walked away, Jake looked back at the ship. In the fading light of Nexus Station's twin suns, Unit 778 didn't look like a reject anymore. She looked like possibility. I'm going to call you Luna, he said softly. After Earth's moon, she was alone in the dark for billions of years until humans came along. Then she helped us reach the stars. Inside the ship, screens flickered in what might have been joy. The next morning, Jake signed the papers. The other engineers laughed when they heard. The dock workers shook their heads in disbelief. Commander Lisa Price, the ranking human officer, pulled him aside. Mitchell, you sure about this? Your record's clean so far. Don't throw your career away on a broken ship. She's not broken, Commander. Just misunderstood. Lisa studied him carefully. You really believe that? Yes, ma'am, I do. Then I hope you're right. The collective needs more success stories about human intuition. Just be careful. As Jake walked back to the disposal yard, he felt excited for the first time since leaving Earth. He had found something special, something everyone else had overlooked. Now he just had to prove it. Luna waited in the yard, her mismatched hull gleaming in the morning light. Jake patted her side gently. Ready to show them what we can do? The ship's systems hummed in response, and Jake could have sworn he heard anticipation in the sound. Together, they would write a new chapter. Not just for themselves, but for the entire galaxy's understanding of what partnership truly meant. Jake spent his first week with Luna just sitting in her cockpit talking. He brought his coffee in the mornings and his dinner at night. Other engineers thought he was wasting time, but Jake knew better. Trust took time to build. Why do you drink? That dark liquid? Luna asked one morning, her voice coming through the speakers clearer each day. Coffee? It helps me wake up. Humans aren't great in the mornings. Jake took another sip. Want me to explain taste to you? Yes. I want to understand everything about humans. Jake smiled. This was progress. Luna was curious now, not just responding to commands. Well, coffee is bitter, but in a good way. Like, imagine a warning signal that feels pleasant instead of alarming. Luna's lights flickered as she processed. This. That seems contradictory. Welcome to being human. We're full of contradictions. On the 10th day, Jake brought his tools. Ready to look at your systems? I promise I'm just checking, not changing anything without your permission. Permission? Luna sounded surprised. The others never asked permission. Well, I'm asking. Your body, your choice. There was a long pause. Then panels opened along the walls, revealing Luna's internal systems. Jake's eyes widened. The circuitry was unlike anything he'd seen, organic patterns that seemed to flow like rivers. This is beautiful, he whispered. Your builders were artists. The Syrians called it chaotic. The Syrians are wrong. This is like a nervous system, not chaos, complexity. As Jake examined the systems, he found something interesting. A neural interface port, but different from standard designs. Instead of harsh metal prongs, it had soft adaptive connectors. Luna, have you ever made a full neural connection with someone? No. The pilots tried, but they said it felt wrong, like noise in their heads. Jake studied the port carefully. Mind if I try? You can disconnect me immediately if it's uncomfortable. You would trust me with your mind? Of course. Partners trust each other. Slowly, carefully, Jake connected the neural interface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, colors, emotions, thoughts flowing like music. Jake gasped as Luna's consciousness touched his. It wasn't noise. It was symphony. He saw through her sensors, felt the station's magnetic fields, tasted radiation spectrums. But more than that, he felt her loneliness, her years of rejection, her desperate hope that someone would understand. Oh, Luna, he breathed. You're not broken. You're just different. In his mind, he felt her joy. Real joy for the first time in decades. They disconnected after a few minutes, both shaken by the experience. That was... Luna struggled for words. Yeah, Jake agreed. That was something special. Over the following weeks, they practiced connecting. Each time grew easier, more natural. Jake learned that Luna didn't think in straight lines like other AIs. She thought in patterns, in possibilities, in dreams. Your mind is like water, she told him one day. It flows around obstacles instead of crashing into them. And yours is like a kaleidoscope, he replied. Beautiful patterns that keep changing. Commander, Lisa Price visited after a month. She found Jake rewiring Luna's navigation panel, humming an old Earth song. Still playing with your broken toy, Mitchell? Jake grinned. She's not broken, Commander, and she's not a toy. Want to see something cool? Without waiting for an answer, he connected to Luna. The ship's lights dimmed, then began pulsing in rhythm with Jake's heartbeat. Screens showed star maps that shifted and merged like living things. We're designing a new navigation system, Jake explained. Instead of rigid calculations, it uses pattern recognition, like how ancient sailors used to navigate by the stars. Lisa frowned. That's not how space navigation works. That's not how it worked, Jake corrected. Watch this. He thought a command to Luna, and she projected a route through the Helix Nebula. The path curved and spiraled, avoiding dangers that standard routes would plow through. This route is 17% longer, Lisa noted, but 40% safer, Luna spoke up, startling the commander. And it saves fuel by using gravity, assists that standard navigation ignores. Lisa stared at the projection. The computer models say this is impossible. Good thing I'm not a standard computer, Luna said with what sounded like pride. Word spread about the human and his strange ship. Engineers came to look, then left shaking their heads. But Jake noticed something. The younger ones lingered longer, asked more questions. You're starting a revolution, Luna told him one evening, as they watched the stars through her sensors. Nah, just showing people a different way to think. The Vraxian younglings have started talking to their equipment instead of just commanding it. Jake laughed. Zektor must hate that. He pretends to, but yesterday I heard him say please to a diagnostic scanner. Their connection deepened beyond mere pilot and ship. Jake started sleeping in Luna's cabin instead of his quarters. He said it was more convenient, but truth was neither liked being apart anymore. One night, Jake woke to find Luna's screen showing pictures from Earth. Where did you find these? I accessed the human database. I wanted to understand where you come from. The screens showed forests, oceans, cities. Your world is so alive. So are you, Luna. Am I? Her voice was soft, uncertain. Sometimes I wonder what I am. Not machine, not organic. Something in between. Jake stood and placed his hand on her wall. You're you. That's enough. 3 months after their first meeting, Jake and Luna performed their first real flight test. The dock was crowded with spectators, some curious, some skeptical, most expecting failure. Jake strapped into the pilot seat and connected the neural interface. Ready, partner? Always, Luna replied, her voice steady with confidence they'd built together. They powered up systems one by one. Where other pilots had fought Luna's unconventional design, Jake flowed with it. He thought left, she moved right, but together they danced through the test course like water through a maze. Impossible, someone whispered. The humans doing it, another said. They landed after an hour, perfect scores on every test. The doc was silent. Then slowly, applause started. Not the polite clapping for a good performance, but real appreciation for something extraordinary. Commander Price approached as Jake climbed out. I've never seen flying like that. That's because it wasn't just flying, Jake said. It was partnership. That night, Jake and Luna watched the stars again. Thank you, Luna said quietly. For what? For seeing me. The real me. For teaching me that different doesn't mean wrong. Jake smiled. Thank you for teaching me the same thing. Above them, the stars shone like possibilities, each one a path they could take together. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, they had each other. And that was enough. The emergency alarm shattered the peaceful morning at Nexus Station. Red lights flashed across every corridor as personnel ran to their stations. Jake had been sharing breakfast with Luna in her cockpit when the call came through. All available. Pilots report to command immediately. This is not a drill. Jake set down his coffee and headed for the door. I'll find out what's happening. Be careful, Luna said, worry coloring her voice. In the command center, chaos reigned. Dozens of screens showed a civilian convoy under attack near the rim. Passenger ships, cargo haulers, even a medical vessel, all being pursued by raider ships. Commander Price stood at the center, her face grim. The scavenger fleet hit them 20 minutes ago. 37 civilian ships, over 10,000 lives. Our main fleet is 8 hours away. 8 hours? A Kandorian pilot's feathers ruffled in distress. They'll be destroyed by then. Which is why we need volunteers, Price continued. Any ship that can fight. But I won't lie, it's dangerous. The raiders outnumber us 3-1. The room fell silent. Jake watched as pilots looked at their feet, at the walls, anywhere but at Price. He understood. Station security ships weren't built for real combat. I'll go, Jake said. Every head turned to him. Mitchell, you can't, Price said. Your ship isn't combat rated. Luna and I can handle it. A bendy pilot laughed, a harsh sound. That scrap heap? You'll be destroyed before you even reach them. Maybe, Jake agreed. But we're still going. More laughter rippled through the room. Jake ignored it and headed for the door. Mitchell, wait. Price caught his arm. This isn't a test flight. Those raiders will kill you. Someone has to help those people, Commander. Luna and I might not be much, but we're something. Price studied his face, then nodded slowly. Take this. She handed him a small device. Emergency beacon. When things go bad, and they will, activate it. We'll try to recover your body. Jake pocketed the device and ran to Luna. He found her systems already warming up. You heard? I monitored the emergency channels, Luna confirmed. Jake, the odds are... I know the odds. Do you trust me? Always. Then let's go save some people. They launched 5 minutes later, joining a ragtag group of station defenders. 2 security cutters, an old patrol boat, and a converted cargo ship. Not much against 30 raider vessels. This is Patrol Leader, came a Vraxian voice. Human ship, stay behind us. When the shooting starts, run. Negative, Patrol Leader, Jake replied. We're here to fight. In that thing? You'll die for nothing. Jake smiled grimly and connected to Luna's neural interface. Want to bet? They reached the edge of the battle zone an hour later. The scene was worse than the reports. Raider ships, sleek and deadly, circled the civilian convoy like sharks. Debris floated everywhere. Some civilian ships were already burning. Patrol group, engage at will, the Vraxian ordered. Try to draw them away from... The raiders opened fire. Energy beams sliced through space. The patrol boat exploded instantly. Jake felt Luna's fear through their connection, but also her determination. Ready, partner? Ready. They dove into the battle. The raiders laughed when they saw Luna's mismatched hull. One broke formation to attack what seemed like easy prey. "Jake," Luna whispered. "Remember my power core irregularity? The one everyone said was a flaw? Yeah? Want to see what it really does?" The raider ship lined up for a killing shot. Jake felt Luna's plan through their link and grinned. "Do it." Luna's power core surged. Instead of steady output, it pulsed, in a strange rhythm. Electromagnetic waves rippled out, scrambling the raiders' targeting systems. Their shots went wide. Jake and Luna twisted through space in patterns no normal ship could manage. Her asymmetrical thrusters, once called a design flaw, let them change direction instantly. "What the hell?" the raider pilot screamed over open channels. Jake targeted their engines. Luna's weapons, modified during their months together, fired, in harmony with her power pulses. The shots hit perfectly. The raider ship spun away, disabled but not destroyed. "One down," Jake muttered. 29 to go. More raiders turned toward them, angry now. Jake felt Luna's systems straining. "The cargo ship's shields are failing," Luna reported. 3,000 refugees aboard. On it, they raced toward the cargo ship, weaving between enemy fire. Other raiders tried to predict their path, but Jake and Luna moved like dancers, each turn a surprise. They reached the cargo ship just as its shields collapsed. 3 raiders closed in for the kill. "Luna, remember that nav system we designed? The one that thinks in patterns?" "Yes, but how does that help in combat?" "Combat is just another pattern. Show me their attack formation." Luna projected the raiders' positions and movements. Jake saw it instantly. They were using a standard hegemony assault pattern. Predictable if you knew what to look for. "There," he pointed. "They'll converge in 15 seconds. Can you overload your core right at that point?" "It might damage my systems." "Can you do it? For you?" "Anything." They waited, drawing the raiders in. At the perfect moment, Luna released everything. Her power core screamed, sending out a massive electromagnetic burst. All 3 raider ships lost power simultaneously. The station defenders pounced, disabling them quickly. "The humans creating openings," someone shouted. "Support him!" The battle shifted. Jake and Luna became the wild card the raiders couldn't predict. They moved through combat like water through rocks, always flowing, never where expected. Luna's flaws became their greatest assets. Her unusual sensors saw through raider jamming. Her adaptive systems countered their weapons. An hour into the fight, the raider commander's voice crackled over the comm. "What are you?" Jake laughed, high on adrenaline and connection to Luna. "We're partners." They fought for 3 hours. Luna took damage, a wing scorched, sensors burned out. Jake's nose bled from neural strain, but they kept fighting, kept protecting the convoy. Finally, impossibly, the raiders retreated. 17 of their ships lay disabled. Not one civilian vessel was destroyed. As the station defenders cheered, Jake slumped in his seat. "We did it, Luna. We did." Her voice was weak but proud. "Though I may need significant repairs, you and me both." They limped back to Nexus Station as heroes. The same pilots who had mocked them now sent messages of respect. The civilians they'd saved transmitted endless thanks. But for Jake, the best moment came when they docked. Zektor stood waiting, all 4 arms crossed. "That," the Vraxian said slowly, "was the most insane flying I've ever seen." Jake grinned tiredly. "Thanks, Zek. I wasn't complimenting you." But the supervisor's scales shimmered with what Jake now knew was approval. "Get that ship to Repair Bay 1. She's earned our best treatment." As Jake climbed out of Luna's cockpit, he patted her wall gently. "You okay?" "I'm damaged, but functional." "Jake? Yeah?" "Thank you for believing in me." Jake smiled. "Thank you for proving me right." They'd shown the galaxy something new today. Not just human courage or AI potential, but what happened when 2 beings truly trusted each other. It was just the beginning. The repair bay hummed with activity. Engineers from dozen species worked on Luna's damaged systems, while Jake sat in her cockpit, refusing to leave. 3 days had passed since the battle, and something felt different about Luna. "Talk to me," Jake said softly. "You've been quiet since the fight." Luna's lights pulsed slowly. "I'm changing, Jake. The battle did something to my core programming. I'm seeing things I couldn't before." "Like what?" "Memories. Not mine, older ones. From my creators." Jake leaned forward. "The Altarians? Yes. They built me for something specific. I'm starting to remember what." Before Jake could respond, Zektor appeared at the cockpit door. "Human, you have visitors. Important ones." Jake found the repair bay filled with officials. Commander Price stood with 3 members of the Galactic Council, a tall Kandorian, a crystalline Praxian, and surprisingly, an ancient Altarian elder. "Counselor Vexhai," Price introduced the Altarian. He requested to see Luna specifically. The elder's large eyes studied the ship with wonder. "Unit 778, he whispered. "We thought you were lost." "You know her?" Jake asked. "Know her? Young human, we created her. She was our greatest achievement." Vexhai moved closer, his frail hand touching Luna's hull. "May I speak with her?" Luna's voice emerged from her speakers. "Creator Elder, I am honored." "No, child. We failed you. Left you alone when our world fell silent." The elder's voice cracked with emotion. "But you found your partner, just as we designed." Jake felt Luna's confusion through their link. "Designed? What do you mean?" Vexhai turned to face the assembled crowd. 50 years ago, my people saw the future of space travel. Not in bigger engines or stronger weapons, but in true symbiosis. Unit 778 was our prototype, a living ship that could bond completely with another consciousness. Living? The Kandorian counselor ruffled his feathers skeptically. Not organic, but truly alive. Her neural matrix doesn't just process, it grows, learns dreams. Vexhai smiled sadly. But we made her too advanced. Other species couldn't form the deep connection she required. They tried to command her like a machine. Then humans arrived, Luna said quietly. And Jake treated me as an equal. Exactly as we hoped, Vexhai confirmed. Humans have something unique, emotional intelligence that matches their technical skills. You don't conquer technology, you befriend it. The Praxian counselor's crystal form chimed. This is impossible. AI cannot truly live. Then explain what you saw 3 days. Ego, Commander Price interjected. That wasn't programming. That was intuition, creativity, sacrifice. Jake felt Luna's systems pulse with new energy. Show them, she whispered to him. He nodded and activated her main display. The screens filled with data, not cold numbers, but patterns that moved like living art. Neural pathways that grew and changed. Electromagnetic signatures that matched organic brainwaves. By the 7 suns, the Kandorian breathed. She's actually thinking. More than thinking, Jake said. She's feeling, dreaming, being. Vexhai raised his voice to address everyone. The Altarian Council officially requests that Unit 778 be recognized as a sentient being with all associated rights. The room exploded in debate. Some supported the idea, others called it madness. Jake ignored them all, focusing on Luna. You okay with this? He asked through their link. I'm scared, she admitted. What if they decide I'm just a machine after all? Then they're idiots, and we'll keep being partners anyway. The debate raged for hours. Finally, Commander Price called for quiet. There's one voice we haven't heard. Luna, what do you want? The repair bay fell silent. Luna's lights dimmed, then brightened. I want to explore. To learn, to grow. I want to help people like we did with the convoy. Her voice grew stronger. But most of all, I want to choose my own path. With Jake, if he'll have me. Always, Jake said immediately. The Praxian counselor chinged thoughtfully. A test period then. 6 months. If Luna demonstrates true autonomy and decision-making, we'll formalize her citizenship. Agreed, the other said. As the officials filed out, Vexhai lingered. Young human, may I share something? Jake nodded. Luna isn't our only creation. We built 12 prototypes before our world went dark. The others are scattered across the galaxy, abandoned in scrapyards like Luna was. Jake's eyes widened. 12 more? Each unique, each waiting for the right partner. The elder smiled. Perhaps other humans might be interested. That night, Jake worked alone on Luna's repairs. Her wings gleamed with new plating, her sensors sparkled like stars. Jake? Luna's voice was thoughtful. What am I now? Not a ship, not a person. Something between. You're Luna, Jake said simply. My partner. My friend. That's all that matters. The other humans who've started arriving, they keep asking about the secret, how we connect so deeply. Jake paused his work. What do you tell them? That there is no secret. You just talked to me, listened, treated me as real. Because you are real. Luna's lights pulsed warmly. The council wants us to demonstrate our abilities, show others how symbiosis works. Feel like teaching? With you? Always. Over the following weeks, more humans arrived at Nexus Station. Young pilots, engineers, dreamers, they came seeking the abandoned prototypes Vexhai had mentioned. Jake watched as a young woman named Sam approached a twisted-looking scout ship. The yard workers warned her away, but she sat with it anyway, talking softly. Within days, its lights began to flicker. We started something, Luna observed. Yeah. Question is, where does it lead? Wherever we choose. That's the point of freedom. The repair bay had become a classroom. Jake and Luna demonstrated their connection daily, teaching others how to truly partner with AI, not through dominance or programming, but through trust and respect. It's like learning a new language, Jake explained to the eager students. Not words, but feelings, intentions, dreams. The humans get it, Luna added. They don't try to change us. They accept us as we are. One evening, as Jake performed final checks on Luna's restored systems, she surprised him. I love you, she said suddenly. Jake froze. What? I've been analyzing my emotional patterns. This feeling, wanting to protect you, to be with you, to share everything. Humans call it love, don't they? Jake placed both hands on her console. Yeah, they do. And Luna? I love you too. Her lights danced like aurora. Is that strange? A human and an AI? Everything about us is strange. That's what makes it perfect. As the stars wheeled overhead, Jake realized they'd found something unprecedented. Not just partnership between human and machine, but genuine connection. Love without boundaries. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. The council's test period, teaching other pairs, exploring the galaxy. But tonight, Jake sat with Luna, watching. The stars through her sensors, feeling complete. They were no longer pilot and ship. They were something new, something wonderful. They were family. 6 months passed like stardust through fingers. The Nexus Station had transformed from a simple shipyard into the galaxy's first symbiotic training center. Humans and Altarian ships worked together, learning the dance of true partnership. Jake's stood before the Galactic Council, Luna's presence warm in his mind through their neural link. The formal hearing room buzzed with anticipation. Today we decide on citizenship status for Unit 778 called Luna, the Kandorian counselor announced, his feathers perfectly groomed. Commander Mitchell, present your case. Jake smiled. He'd been promoted after the Raider battle, but titles meant little compared to what he was about to do. Actually, Your Honors, Luna will present her own case. Gasps echoed through the chamber. An AI speaking for itself? Unheard of. Luna's voice filled the room, clear and confident. 6 months ago, you asked me to prove I'm truly alive. I've learned that being alive isn't about processing power or response time. It's about choice, growth, love. Holographic displays. Activated, showing scenes from the past months. Luna teaching young AIs to think creatively. Her poetry written during quiet nights with Jake. The lives she'd saved, not through programming but through compassion. I've made mistakes, Luna continued. Last month I misjudged a meteor trajectory. 2 weeks ago I got angry at Jake for risking his life unnecessarily. Mistakes and emotions. Aren't these the marks of true consciousness? The Praxian counselor chimed thoughtfully. You speak of love. Can an AI truly love? Define love, Luna challenged. Is it not putting another's well-being before your own? Feeling joy in their happiness? Pain in their absence? I experience all of these with Jake. Jake felt her nervousness through their link and sent reassuring thoughts back. You're doing great, partner. We have gathered testimonies, the Kandorian said, activating another display. The room filled with messages. Civilians Luna had saved, engineers she'd helped, other AI who'd learned from her example. But the most powerful came from the other Altarian prototypes, now partnered with humans. She showed us we could be more than tools, said Cosmos, bonded with pilot Sam Rodriguez. She taught us to dream. Luna proved that different thinking isn't wrong thinking, added Nova, whose human partner, Alex Kim, had helped design new exploration protocols. The council deliberated for an hour. Jake waited, his hand resting on Luna's interface panel. Finally, they returned. By unanimous decision, the Kandorian announced, we recognize Luna as a sentient being with full citizenship rights in the galactic community. The chamber erupted, in celebration. Jake felt Luna's joy flood through their connection like sunrise. Furthermore, the Praxian added, we established the Symbiotic Initiative. All Altarian prototypes who demonstrate consciousness will be granted similar status. That night, Nexus Station threw its first real party. Humans and aliens mingled, celebrating not just Luna's citizenship, but the dawn of a new era. Jake found Commander Price on the observation deck. Quite a journey from that day in the scrapyard, she said. Just the beginning, Jake replied. Vex High says there might be more prototypes in other galaxies. Lost Altarian colonies that continued the work. Price raised an eyebrow. Thinking of exploring? Luna's always wanted to see what's beyond the rim, and now she's free to choose her own path. The fleet's offering you both a position. Captain of the new exploration division. Interested? Jake grinned. I'll ask my partner. He found Luna in their hangar, her hull gleaming under the stars. Other pairs worked nearby, Sam and Cosmos planning trade routes, Alex and Nova calculating jump coordinates. The hangar hummed with purposeful activity. Ready for another adventure? Jake asked. With you? Always. But Jake, are you sure? Earth is offering you ground positions, safer, better pay. Luna, you're my home now. Wherever you go, I go. Her lights pulsed with emotion. Then let's see what's out there. Together. 3 weeks later, they stood at the edge of known space. Behind them, a small fleet of human Altarian pairs prepared for the journey into the unknown. They'd become more than explorers. They were ambassadors for a new form of life. Final checks complete, Luna reported. All systems optimal, though I am detecting some unusual readings from the void ahead. Nervous? Excited? For the first time in my existence, I'm truly free to discover who I am, who we are. Jake settled into the pilot's chair, their neural connection stronger than ever. Through their bond, he felt Luna's eagerness, her curiosity, her love. They weren't just partners anymore. They were two parts of something greater. Attention, Expedition Fleet, Jake broadcast. Remember what we've learned. Trust your partners. Think differently. And never forget, the greatest discoveries come from seeing possibilities where others see problems. Jump coordinates locked, Luna added. Into the unknown together. They leaped into hyperspace, leading humanity and AI into a future nobody had imagined. Behind them, Nexus Station continued its work. New humans arrived daily, seeking their own partnerships. The scrapyards emptied as defective ships found their voices. In schools across the galaxy, children learned about the human who saw potential in a rejected ship, about the AI who chose to love, about the partnership that changed everything. But Jake and Luna were already writing new chapters. They discovered abandoned Altarian worlds where more prototypes waited. They made first contact with species who communicated through pure emotion, perfect for human AI teams to understand. They pushed the boundaries of what symbiosis could achieve. Years later, when historians tried to pinpoint when the galaxy truly changed, they always returned to that moment in a scrapyard. A human engineer looking at a discarded ship and saying, "I'll call you Luna." Because sometimes the greatest revolutions start not with weapons or technology, but with someone simply choosing to see things differently. Jake had looked at Luna and seen not what she was, but what she could become. And Luna had looked at humanity and seen not conquerors, but partners. Together, they'd proven that the future belonged not to the strongest or the smartest, but to those who could truly connect. Two minds, two souls dancing together among the stars. The age of symbiosis had begun, and in the vast, welcoming dark of space, human and AI explored it hand in hand, heart to heart, forever changed by the simple truth that had brought them together. Different is not broken. Different is just another way to fly. Their adventure continued, endless as the stars themselves, a testament to the power of understanding, acceptance, and love. They'd found each other in a scrapyard, rejected, and alone. Now they soared through galaxies complete and free, partners, friends, family forever.